Happy day 28 today. Day 28 of the What If Project, which you can register for at yourbestmanager.com/whatif. It is Wednesday, and our weather out here in Alberta, I'm just north of Calgary in Airdrie, it's kind of weird. It was really nice and sunny, I feel like an hour ago, and the wind is picking up like crazy. So hopefully I'm out of the wind. I may have to walk in a moment or two to try and avoid it from picking up in the mic. But regardless, I thought I'd enjoy some fresh air this afternoon. And there's that wind. Hopefully my back is blocking it a little bit. But anyway, so you obviously saw the quote. Maybe you didn't in the little description there. But what you allow in your presence becomes the rule of your command. And that's something that, just block that a little bit. That's something that Mark Deterding shared on the Your Best Manager podcast in episode 44. And he is a proponent, advocate, consultant for something known as servant leadership. And a lot of people think servant leadership is soft. It's about serving others, it's about being really nice. But when you are truly trying to lead people in their best interest, there are times where your leadership is anything but soft. And one of the things that he pointed out, a challenge that he faced was, and I might screw up this story. I haven't actually listened to the episode in a while. It was back, what would have been 50 episodes ago. Time flies. But he had started as a manager, and I think it was some sort of maybe manufacturing plant or production facility. And there was a lot of cursing from his staff. And he's not somebody who appreciates or expects foul language in the workplace. I don't really think that's necessarily appropriate anywhere, but he wasn't a fan of it. But his philosophy was, well, maybe if I just act different, maybe if I just don't curse, people will pick up on how I act and they may emulate me and things will change. And guess what? It didn't. Nothing changed at all because he was tolerating behavior in his presence, which became the rule of his command. Meaning, if it's okay to do in front of Mark, or if it's okay to do in front of the boss, well, it's okay to do it all, or anytime, right? And so the message here is, first of all, if you have expectations, you need to communicate them. You can't expect people to just pick up on the things that you do or expect. What's common sense to you is not necessarily common sense to everybody. And part of that is culture, part of that is past work experience, part of that is the way people were raised, part of that is personality. But you can't expect what you consider common sense to be common sense to everybody. So you need to, if you have expectations, communicate them. But you need to also be able to communicate why you have expectations so that there's buy-in. Just creating rules for the sake of rules because that's just the way you operate is not going to build culture. It's going to hurt culture because you're going to be over-governing or overruling or more of a dictator. And so you want to be able to establish expectations, communicate the why behind those expectations, get buy-in, but then the most important thing is you need to hold accountability. You need to be intolerant of failure to meet those expectations. And this goes back to the consistency thing that I believe I talked about yesterday. You want to treat people according to where they're at, but you want to be consistent. And in terms of what you allow in your presence, you need to have consistency there. If there is a rule that there is no cursing or no foul language in the workplace, you need to enforce that, and you need to not allow that in your presence, because what you allow in your presence becomes the rule of your command. And so I guess the what if question today is, what if all managers set expectations, clearly communicated those expectations, got buy-in to those expectations, and then enforced those expectations consistently? This is a tough thing to balance because a lot of us, myself included, we don't like to ruffle feathers or stir the pot. We don't like conflict, and so we like to be nice to people, and it's not nice to call people out, but it's also not effective leadership to allow things. And the biggest damage you can have to your culture is to allow people to get away with things or to be inconsistent in how you lead, in how you enforce certain things, and how you hold people accountable. So, what if? It's a tough balance, but what if all managers set expectations, clearly communicated the why behind them, got buy-in, and enforced those expectations? What kind of cultures and would we be protecting in that case? And how many great candidates or great employees would stay rather than quit because they work in a place where their positive, their strong culture is protected and enforced by a fierce yet caring leader. All right, have a great day. And again, for the What If Project, you can register at yourbestmanager.com/whatif. And if you have not watched the live training for where I teach on positioning, we're doing another live event tomorrow at 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, on how managers can use positioning to save time and increase productivity. Not personal productivity, but the entire productivity and performance of the team. So you can register for that over at yourbestmanager.com/webinar, and I'll see you then.